Imagine standing right at the very peak of a company, where every single choice you make can affect thousands, huge amounts of money. The view, well, it must be incredible, right? Proof of amazing success. But what we often don't see is the weight behind it all. Not just the demands, but this deep sense of being alone that can creep in. What's it really like to wear that crown? What are the hidden burdens? Today we're doing a deep dive into something we're calling the isolated crown. It's that often unspoken, heavy loneliness many CEOs feel. We're going to unpack this reality and look at how some really visionary leaders are tackling it for themselves and, interestingly, in how they build their teams.
Yeah, and for this, we've looked at quite a range of stuff. There are various articles that really shed light on the CEO role, specifically this loneliness aspect,
Yeah.
and offer some practical ways to deal with it. And we also have a fascinating YouTube transcript. It reveals a very, let's say, counterintuitive hiring approach from a big name in tech right now.
Okay, so our mission today is to pull out the key insights on this leadership isolation and explore how some top leaders are actually building connections in a job that often seems defined by, well, being alone. So let's start with the role itself. Chief Executive Officer, CEO. What does that actually entail?
You're the top person, right? Responsible for the big picture strategy, major decisions, managing the top team, and they're the main link between the board and what the company actually does day to day.
Exactly. And the crucial part, the thing you absolutely have to grasp, is their ultimate accountability. The buck really does stop with them. For everything, performance, reputation, the whole direction of the company, internally, externally, it's all on them.
Okay, so when you think about that sheer scope of power, but also that immense responsibility, what does that actually feel like for the person in that chair day after day?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? It's almost a paradox. That ultimate power often goes hand in hand with profound loneliness. Our sources point to a few key reasons why being a CEO can be so isolating. One big one is the lack of real peers inside the company. Right. Who do they talk to?
Exactly. Unlike pretty much everyone else, they can't just casually share their biggest frustrations or their deepest uncertainties with someone down the hall without worrying about, the potential fallout. There's no internal confidant in the same way.
And there's that pressure, too, isn't there, to always seem strong?
Oh, absolutely. A
Yeah.
relentless pressure. They're expected to project this unwavering confidence, total certainty, complete strength all the time, even when privately they might be wrestling with huge doubts or internal conflict. That pressure really discourages showing any vulnerability, admitting mistakes.
Yeah.
And that just deepens the emotional isolations, like they're always performing.
And the weight you mentioned, that ultimate responsibility, the buck stops here.
hmm That weighs incredibly heavily. It doesn't matter if it's a massive corporation or how much they delegate. When things go wrong, financial trouble, a strategy fails, bad press, the CEO is the one ultimately held accountable. That's a very solitary burden.
Wow. And one more thing the sources mentioned was a kind of feedback vacuum.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Many CEOs just don't get truly honest, critical feedback. Not from employees who might be intimidated or just want to please the boss, and sometimes not even from the board. So they can end up disconnected from the reality of their own performance, unsure how they're really doing. They might think everything's great while, the ship is slowly taking on water. That's a dangerous spot.
Okay, that paints a really stark picture. Surrounded by people, maybe hundreds or thousands, but feeling profoundly alone. That's a heavy, heavy burden. So if this is the reality, how do effective leaders even start to manage that kind of isolation?
Well, one person who really dedicated his life to understanding and fighting this exact issue was Dave Darsch. And with sadness, we share this today, but it's relevant to his work. Dave actually passed away very recently on July 5th, 2025. He was 68 in New York City.
Oh, wow. That's very recent.
Yeah, it's after a sudden illness, and he was surrounded by his loved ones. And it feels like a testament to him, really, that even in his final moments, he was doing what he valued, bringing people together, sharing an experience.
That says a lot. Tell us more about his work in this area.
Dave's impact was, well, it was global. For over 20 years, he worked tirelessly with leaders. He wasn't just a business leader himself. He was a board chairman, a really sought-after CEO mentor, especially for high-growth companies. He was a strategic advisor, but also, importantly, a teacher and mentor for the next generation. He'd founded and sold his own tech firm, Data Management Design, Inc., years ago, so he genuinely understood the entrepreneurial roller coaster.
He'd lived it.
He'd absolutely lived it. And in 2005, he co-founded the CEO Collaborative Forum, the CEO CF, with his wife, Lisa McDonald Darsch. That organization is still going strong today, helping CEOs worldwide through structured peer support.
And he had a great quote about this, didn't he? About the loneliness.
He did. He said, being a CEO, whether it's in Europe or whether it's in the U.S., is a very, very lonely position, and you really don't know who to talk to or who to get answers from.
That just nails it, doesn't it?
It really does. And that feeling was the core driver behind his belief in peer collaboration. He truly believed, and I'm quoting again, if you're with other CEOs with peer collaboration and sharing your concerns, your challenges, and your issues with your peer group, you're able to accelerate a growth that couldn't happen otherwise.
So it wasn't just about venting, it was about actual growth acceleration.
Absolutely. It was about creating psychological safety, being vulnerable with people who get it, and learning from each other's experiences much faster than you could alone.
And he had this filter, this practical approach, right? The YFM.
Yeah, the what's in it for the member filter. He applied that rigorously to organizations like the Alliance of Chief Executives he was involved with. If something didn't clearly benefit the members, the CEOs participating, then it just wasn't worth doing.
Which makes sense. It fosters real community, not just networking.
Precisely. It builds trust and ensures everyone's getting genuine value. He knew connection needs to be cultivated, not forced.
And his personal life seemed to reflect this too, the pig roast.
Oh, definitely. He didn't just talk about community, he lived it. For 33 years, he hosted this annual pig roast. It was a huge tradition for friends and family. Even his health challenges, like he had multiple heart valve surgeries starting way back in 91, then 2003 and 2022, he turned that into connection too. He famously had t-shirts made proclaiming he was running on pig and cow parts.
That's brilliant. Finding humor and connection even there.
Right. It shows his whole approach. He also loved to travel, saw almost 50 countries, often with his son Davis. It was all about creating memories, bringing people together. These weren't just side notes. They were integral to who he was and the kind of supportive environment he championed.
So Dave Darsch's life really exemplifies some key remedies for that CEO loneliness. Seeking out peer support, like through his CEO CF, and building a really strong support system outside the company walls.
Exactly. And linking this back inside the company for a moment, our sources also point to the importance of a healthy relationship with the board chair. That chair can be a vital sounding board, a mentor, an advocate. If there's mutual respect and trust and clarity on roles, chair runs the board, CEO runs the company, that relationship can be a huge buffer against isolation internally.
A critical internal ally. Okay, that makes sense. Now, let's pivot a bit. Let's talk about another major leader, someone very much in the spotlight now with the AI boom. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. Quick background: American tech entrepreneur, investor, dropped out of Stanford, co-founded Looped, was president of Y Combinator, the huge startup accelerator.
Yeah, launched countless massive companies.
Right, and then co-founded OpenAI back in 2015, a major player. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, especially thinking about how a CEO can structure things to maybe feel less isolated. Altman has this pretty counterintuitive hiring philosophy.
He really does.
Yeah.
And it's striking. His stated priority for hiring, especially at senior levels, is hire for values first, aptitude second, and skills third.
Values first. That seems backwards to how most big companies hire executives.
It is. And Altman directly critiques the traditional approach. He says most executive recruiters do the exact opposite. They look for skills first, like, find me a CFO. And they bring back candidates with, as he puts it, 20 years of the exact same year of experience over and over again.
Okay, so why values first for Altman, especially in fast-growing companies?
His reasoning is that if someone is deeply aligned with the company's core values, they'll fundamentally make the same kinds of decisions the CEO would make, even when the CEO isn't in the room. Plus, they'll naturally be good team players, helping build that culture of trust and shared purpose. The team basically becomes an extension of the CEO's core thinking.
Okay, that makes a certain kind of sense. Then aptitude second.
Yes, because roles change constantly, especially in tech or any fast-moving field. Altman believes that the rate of learning, the rate of improvement dominates skills. High aptitude means someone can adapt, learn quickly, and grow into whatever the role becomes. That adaptability is more valuable than just having yesterday's skills.
And skills come third, which seems radical for, say, a specialized role.
It does seem radical. But Altman argues that while skills obviously matter, they're third on his list. This allows what he calls the very best companies to hire non-traditionally qualified executives, People who have that core value alignment and the raw ability to learn fast, even if they don't tick every single box on a traditional skills checklist.
But hang on, isn't there a risk there? I mean, you need specific expertise, right? Especially for complex roles like a CFO or head of legal in a big organization. Can values and aptitude really make up for decades of specialized experience?
That's the pushback, yeah. And it's a fair question. But Altman's not saying skills are irrelevant. He's just reprioritizing. His argument would be that specific skills, even highly specialized ones, can often be learned, acquired, or supplemented, maybe with consultants, or by building out the team. But what's much harder, almost impossible to teach, is that fundamental alignment with the company's values, or that innate high aptitude, the ability to learn and adapt rapidly.
So if you have the values and the aptitude,
They'll figure out the skills, or they'll know how to find the expertise they need. It fundamentally builds a team that can operate with more autonomy and a deeper shared understanding.
okay, I see. So let's connect this back to our main theme. CEO isolation. How does Altman's hiring philosophy potentially help with that?
Well, think about it. If you build your core team based on shared values and high aptitude, you're not just hiring individual contributors. You're actively cultivating a system that's more aligned, more adaptable, and ultimately more self-sufficient. This naturally creates a stronger internal support network for the CEO.
Ah, so it might reduce that feeling of being the only one holding everything up.
Exactly. It could lessen that intense buck stops here pressure because there's a deeper, almost inherent trust that the team will act in line with the company's core principles, even without direct oversight on every decision.
It's like building connection and shared purpose right into the foundations of the team.
Precisely. It's a proactive strategy to embed support and understanding within the organization's DNA, empowering others to lead effectively within their own areas.
So we've gone from the stark reality of loneliness at the very top, the isolated crown, to looking at the strategic value of peer support like Dave Darsch championed, and even how a hiring philosophy like Sam Altman's can build internal connection.
Yeah, it's a journey from acknowledging that isolation to actively cultivating connection, both outside and inside the company walls.
The core message, then, isn't about CEOs needing to be these isolated superheroes carrying the weight alone.
Not at all. It seems effective leadership is really about recognizing those unique pressures, yes, but then actively seeking external support like peer groups and deliberately building internal teams based on deep alignment and the ability to learn and grow together.
It's a more holistic approach. It strengthens the leader, sure, but also the whole organization by weaving in that support and shared purpose.
Right. It creates a more resilient, more connected system overall.
So, a final thought for everyone listening today. Considering what we've discussed about the isolated crown and the real power of connection, maybe take a moment to think. How might rethinking your own support systems, whether that's professional peers or personal relationships, unlock new levels of growth? Not just for you, but maybe for the teams or communities you influence too.